Today is Saturday, April 18th, 2026. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor 50, Week 8.
2 shows a week. Recaps on Wednesday, Saturday, listener feedback show.
Or double mint gum.
What?
2.
Okay.
Double mint
You got double
gum.
on the mind still, huh? I know why you got double on the mind. That episode, we had several super fans comment on this being the best episode of the season. Now, I didn't verify and count if there were 7, as in several, but yeah, this was a doozy of an episode. And
I think all this wind we're having is messing with your brain.
is that what it is? The pollen's in there, garbling
I
it all
don't know,
up?
but it is blowing like crazy out there.
It is a windy spring day here in
Hot.
southwest
It's
Georgia.
already 90 out on the patio.
Yep, it is, and we are here to celebrate the Week 8 episode, and this show is where the superfans get to sound off and share their insights, their analysis, their reactions, and hopefully, fingers crossed, some predictions for what's coming next, because this should be an interesting one coming up,
Definitely.
too. Any business we need to cover?
None that I can think of.
24 super fans sounding off this week. We're going to get started with Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. This is unbelievable. Now, I thought the moon thing, again, from a couple weeks ago was the most insane thing ever, as Probst was hyping up there with the triple elimination. But my goodness, we think 63% voted for this. It was technically a double boot, but it was voting out your pair to make it more complicated and historical, as Probst and the producers just can't let go here with all the hype. But nevertheless, though, here is a little bit of a big woo! Sorry guys, I'm recovering from a cold here, but I really enjoyed this episode for sure. I knew Coach, the writing was on the wall for him. He dug up his own grave a few weeks ago, even when Colby was still around. So even though he laid low, it was too late for him. And Christy, I was just the wrong person for her to be with, unfortunately. And she was just seen as too much of a strategist there. Maybe not a physical threat at this point, but a strategist and a social threat. And she was voted out as well. How about Devin picking up his fake idol that he and Ubicki orchestrated back in episode 2, I think it was? Crazy. You know, and remember now, Aubrey thinks it's a real idol. She doesn't know it's fake. He said it in the voting booth. So he's going to have some answering to do too. Now you know it's going to put even a bigger target on Devin than there already is there. He was fortunate tonight that he didn't get blindsided. But wow, I'm just baffled though. This Riz God kid dodges bullet after bullet. 49, what did he make it all the way to Final Four fire with an idol that he never would play. This time he still has an idol. I think, as you might say, Stacy, they missed an opportunity. Could have gotten rid of Emily and Rizzo with the idol. That could have been huge. Although Cerise's working with them, so that's out of the question, I guess. But I love Cerise, though. Glad she finally won something and she got to go back to camp. She wasn't just stuck there, and she had an impact on the voting, too. Even though it was mostly unanimous, except for who Christy and Coach voted for. But it was mostly unanimous. I think Devin's going to be on the fence. Ubicki, a little bit better watch his back. I hope he doesn't get cocky. It looks like Cerise, Ozzy, Chrissy in a good spot. I'm hoping Steph is hanging in there. Joe might be all right. I know he didn't really like getting rid of Coach, so we'll see. Tiff got new life, too. Oh, hey, good on Joe and Tiff on winning immunity. Now, what's going on now? Probst holding on the challenge. But nevertheless, this has been a great season, and I love tonight's episode. Coach, you saw the handwriting on the wall. Well, let's see if there's any extra clips, and I'm curious to hear what they say in their interviews, especially Coach. He didn't seem bitter, which I was glad. Take care. Woo.
Whoa, thanks, Pete.
I guess Stephanie is one that told him to play his shot in the dark.
That's what Chrissy said in one of her interviews, that Stephanie whispered that to him at one point. But
That's what Stephanie said, too.
Chrissy also said that she didn't think about playing hers, and she didn't know that she couldn't, but it just didn't register with her to play it.
It didn't matter, because whatever his said, they were a pair. So.
Or that would have given them two chances to catch a shot in the dark.
I didn't think they could both.
We didn't.
They said one.
It did say that, but we don't always hear the full details. And Chrissy didn't seem to recall that specifically, that she was told she couldn't play her. She just didn't think to do it, was how I understood her to be explaining that when she called that question.
Okie dokie.
They both seemed to have good demeanors about it. They were still relatively positive in the interviews that I saw. I've got links to a couple of them in the show notes if you want to check those out. Of course, there's still quite a few. And Chrissy didn't do an interview with some podcasts, so she evidently caught some really bad backlash off of something she had said previously. She shut down a couple of her accounts even after that. Someone misunderstood what she said and had taken it as racist, so she was getting all kinds of heinous blowback, which happens these days with social media and people thinking they have a right to do that. Anyway, so I don't know if that was in anticipation of more blowback from rabid fans or what was going on, but she definitely didn't do some common outlets like Rob Has a Podcast and Tyson's The Pod Has Spoken. She didn't do either one of those. But Coach's on The Pod Has Spoken was really good. So he got really touched up at one point when one of the co-hosts had written a haiku for him. That was cool. She did it really well, too.
He's close with Tyson anyway, right?
Seems that way, yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say in general, what I took away from the interviews was he demonstrated the self-awareness that you hope is there. And that was there. At the same time, he really likes going off the deep end with stuff, and being performative and self-professed center of attention is quite the draw for him.
Yeah, I know. And I get that. And I know that there's a different side to him. But when he gets lost in it like that, like he did, I mean, he went
full back into old mode. Yeah, he definitely regressed.
the term
Which people love. The people who love him for entertainment love all that.
Absolutely. And I get that,
can
too.
Appreciate it.
But it's like when he goes full blown with it, it's like, okay, I need some relief.
From the self-righteous indignation.
Little bits of that goes a really long way.
Yeah.
And it's no longer humorous. It can be humorous for a while. But then when it's like full-fledged, he's just...
Yeah, for some fans, it's all fun all the time.
He's wallowing in it at that point.
Yep.
Even in the hammock.
Definitely. Yes. Good deal. Thanks, Pete. Next up, we've got an email from Chris in Alabama.
And Chris says, Chrissy got coached. It was the fans' fault.
Collateral.
Love you all.
It was definitely the fans' fault. Probst he loves that shield. The fans have decided, we didn't vote on this. We voted for, or the majority, 63%, voted for lots of twists, but nobody voted for the blood moons, that specific, or this one, double elimination. That level of details there. But Probst has got a shield, and now he's just raising it at every opportunity.
Yep.
I enjoyed that. Thanks, Chris. Next up, we got a call from Christiana.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Christiana from Massachusetts calling in with my feedback for this week's episode, which was amazing. I have so much to say. I have to talk fast. First off, the sweet irony and poetic justice of Chrissy telling Coach to basically sit in the hammock and shut up and stop making up poems after he earlier in the season was, you talk too much. That's why people don't like you. I thought that was a really nice full circle moment before they both got voted off the show. When Suri came back from exile, which that was an incredible feat. There were so many coconuts on that beach. I feel like it was really a crapshoot if anyone could be successful doing that. But when Ozzy was, I'm so glad Suri's back so she can tell me how to vote correctly because I was going to do the wrong thing. I guess I never knew that Ozzy was very bad at strategy, but I appreciated that he was, Suri needs to tell me what to do. Just that level of self-awareness I thought was funny. Rick's move at Tribal, amazing, incredible, hilarious. Jonathan and his stupid robe being, you showed your true colors. What does that even mean? By doing what? Playing the game? Thinking 10 steps ahead? And his line to Steph too, knowledge is power. You don't need to see what it looks like. Also amazing. Great move. I don't know what he's going to do from here with it, but it was a great moment. Finally, I want to talk about Suri. Every single person in their confessional, when they listed their 4 to 6 person alliance, every single person said Suri. And ironically, no one said Rizzo. So clearly, everyone thinks Rizzo is on the bottom, 13 out of 13. It's funny because Rizzo actually is one of Suri's number one allies, and nobody knows that. But I think this is brilliant on both Rizzo and Suri's part because they're playing the game that's right for them and their role because Suri can't play an under-the-radar game. She's too big of a name. She's too well-known. Rizzo can only play an under-the-radar game because no one knows anything about him. And if he was going around saying he was Suri's number one, people would be like, you're a joke, and no one would believe it. And so the fact that they both have that self-awareness of their position in the group and have the self-control and humility to not counteract that, which I know Suri does, but I'm honestly surprised and impressed that Rizzo does, is really incredible. And that's why I love Survivor. I love the interpersonal dynamics and how people relate to each other and see themselves vis-a-vis other people. And honestly, the thing I judge Rizzo the most for is that Coach is his hero? ? Unclear why. If Coach could put his encyclopedic knowledge of philosophical quotes to work for humanity in some way, then Coach could be his hero. Until then, Coach shouldn't be anyone's hero. But that's just my opinion as a Coach hater. And so I am fine seeing him and Chrissy go. Loving the season. Can't wait to hear what everyone else has to say. Bye.
It's Christiana.
I believe, and thanks, Chris, I don't know if I said that. I believe that we have to look at it as Rizzo sees him as his hero when he was
through the eyes of a child. Yeah.
I mean, that's when he was his hero.
Right.
And you hang on to your heroes from childhood. And I think he clearly sees now because he was kind of schooling him a little bit there. So I think he sees it differently. But he was still
can acknowledge the impact.
Represents.
Yeah.
He was my hero, and he impacted me and made me want to play. So I think the sentimentality is where Rizzo's coming from. And and I thought Ozzy does know about Suri and Rizzo. He's the only one, the three of them. But I just really hope that she's going to go all the way. I'm like getting it so excited because she's still there.
Because this was such a big step.
And people, really want her input at this point. They're not that nobody said, we got to get Suri, we got to get. I was like, oh, okay, that works for me.
Chrissy said something that made me think Rizzo might be tracking in a similar fashion that he did last season. And it's a bit of I think of it like the Russell Hantz problem too, in that she said, he, what we had already heard, refused to do anything around camp. There was a point where he was very sick, and Chrissy and several of the others were attending to him and trying to help him, doing what they could to help him feel better and get through it. And she said he never thanked a one of us for doing that, and he was constantly F-bombing around camp. That kind of thing can really rub some people the wrong way. They are not used to it, and then or don't approve of it. And then the other thing she said was he was doing the RIZGOD thing all the time. And it seems to me like he might possibly be tracking the way he did in 49. It's like, well, you can let the goofball slide because the goofball doesn't stand a chance, right? When you're failing so hard at the social part of the game and you're not aware of it, then
it's like he's no
you can
longer
get
a
carried.
threat.
Yeah.
because he's not good in challenges.
Yep.
And they just don't see him as any kind of threat. They can take him anytime.
He's an asset in a vote, and it's
now
just
they're going
he stands
after threats.
Yeah.
That they perceive as threats. But I still don't understand. Did she say anything about, how did she know that about Rizzo held on to his idol all the way? How did she know
She
that?
acknowledged that everyone was pre-gaming. And that had gotten information or spoken with people and things like
People
that.
in the know.
Yeah. Yep. Sure.
Because it hadn't aired. So, okay.
Just like
Shouldn't have
Savannah
been
got a
privy
call.
to that knowledge.
Savannah got a call from Sophie B
Yes,
saying, "Hey, the
yes.
jig is up. They know you won, so don't try to hide it."
Okay.
And that was as she was getting on the plane to fly to Fiji.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I remember that.
Yeah, there were calls still flying right up to the last minute when they took their phones.
Information.
Yep.
Get me information.
Yes, good stuff. Thanks, Christiana. Next up, we got a call from Rebecca.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy, and all my superfan Survivor friends. This is Rebecca from Northern California saying, na 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 na, na 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 na, hey, 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 bye bye. Bye bye, Coach. Bye bye, Chrissy. Well, Chrissy was collateral damage. Bye bye, Coach. I made Coach my vote out like 3 days ago because I just couldn't take his antics anymore. And I couldn't even think like logistically who might go out, who was with who. I just was playing with my heart like, no, I can't watch this man anymore on my TV screen. Please go home. And what an amazing twist this episode had. It was so freaking cool with the, oh yeah, by the way, who you paired up with, you both get to go. And Sari is a boss coming back into camp with her vote back and just organizing everybody and telling it like it is. And Devins is a rock star. Oh my God, his performance at Tribal Council, pretending he found an idol and swaying practically everyone to completely change their vote. I couldn't believe it. I watched it to the very, very end. It's 9:39 in California right now. I'm leaving my feedback as soon as I finished watching the episode. At the very, very end, when they show who voted for who, I was like, oh, Joe voted for Coach and Chrissy. Oh, Stephanie voted for Coach. Oh, everybody voted for Coach and Chrissy, except for Coach and Chrissy. They obviously didn't vote for themselves, but what a performance. How amazing. I can't wait to see what happens next. This was a great episode. Definitely going to go down as one of the all-time great episodes, from the great twists to the great strategic gameplay, to the great Coach leaving. Yay! Well, that's all I have to say. I'm a very happy camper. Oh, and I was sweating at the end because for the first time this entire season, I put a safe vote on Aubrey, and I didn't want to lose another safe point. But yay, Coach is gone. Coach is gone. No more feathers, no more haikus. When he said, I'd like to say one more thing, I actually said, oh, please don't. Joanne and Stacy, thank you so much for all you do. I can't wait to hear what everyone else does to say. I hope Christian sticks around a while longer because I really do adore him. Everyone have a great weekend.
All right. Thanks, Rebecca.
Well, I laughed when Coach wanted to say one more thing, but nobody laughed at it. And I thought, nah, good luck with that.
Oh, before the vote. Yeah. Chrissy said that she stopped and said some last words thanking everybody too, similar to what Coach did as he was walking out with his torch, but they didn't show
obviously
it. Chose not to show that.
Well, yeah, no. That's probably one of the reasons that she's one of the women that are complaining about the differences in airtime.
Yeah, I think rightfully so. At the time she was saying her complaints, that was certainly the case. But at least it's improved. I don't know if they can change the edit on the fly and adjust things, but one would hope so. Maybe they'll learn from it. We'll see. The islands just went on lockdown again on Wednesday in prep for season 51 to begin filming. So they could be underway as we record right now.
Wow.
Good deal. Thanks, Rebecca. Next up, we got an email from Summer and Matt from East Tennessee. Hello, Survivor Superfans. It's Matt-n-Summer from East Tennessee, but currently in Grand Isle, Louisiana. We're on our first big RV trip of the year, driving down the Great Mississippi River Road. Luckily, we've somehow managed to watch our favorite show, even in the middle of deltas and bayous. This really may be the best Survivor season ever. We thoroughly enjoyed the Double the Trouble challenge. The pairings were interesting, splitting up some key alliances like Devon's and Christian and putting together others like Joe and Tiffany. Is it just us, or do Integrity Joe's oaths of allegiance to others seem questionable? We'll talk about that. Despite his loyal reputation, he doesn't ever seem to have trouble changing his mind when it benefits him. We've seen it more than once now, even going back to his first season, thinking of the David vote, for example. What we saw this week confirms for us that Suri is clearly running the show, and we are here for it. Everyone was so thrilled when she came back to camp to tell them what to do. Did we change our USB last week? Yes and no. We changed our minds a dozen times preseason, but ultimately chose Suri. Unfortunately, we both thought the other locked in our final pick. That didn't happen, so now we have Suri for 10 points. Oh, goodness. For what it's worth, we are tied in first place for the second week in a row. Our JSFL name, CCB, is a variation of Summer's family nickname, Sissy. Oh, Sissy. The now grown nieces and nephews morphed Sissy to Would you still say that, Sissy? Cece?
I would say CCB.
Cece, yeah, long ago, yeah. While we have on occasion done well at JSFL in the past, we always manage to crash and burn at the finale. It happens to a lot of us. Just like Survivor, JSFL can change quickly. Suri said nothing is impossible in Survivor. We're hoping the same is true for JSFL this season and stay lucky. Predictions for next week? Who knows? We feel like it could literally be anyone. Clearly the best move for everyone's game would be to get Suri. We do not want that to happen and feel pretty confident the Survivor gods won't allow it. Matt is thinking Stephanie, and Summer feels like Devon's fake idol plan may backfire, putting the target on him. We are both confused as to why no one has tried to flush Ozzy or Rizzo's idols. Maybe Jonathan will use his low-key shark strategy to do it this week, but we're thinking he'll have to split the difference between the Middle People and the Honor and Integrity Coalition to do that. Thanks for all you do, and looking forward to what the other super fans have to say. Thank you, Matt-n-Summer.
Okay, if I understood that correctly, and they came into the season with no USB, was that how I understood that?
Oh, that makes more sense than making a change and then having to change it back. Yeah, I guess that's right.
Because that would only be for 5 points. Because you didn't have a USB.
Okay.
If that's the case, I might have misunderstood that, but anyway,
All right.
I think it's
Well, they're
showing,
in for 10.
I think it's showing on the standings page, so you can check it out and see. But that
Well,
was
they seem
jumping
clear.
out
I
as
think we're the ones that are confused.
Well, yeah, that's frequently the case.
You bet. Thanks again. Next up, we got a call from Rashmi.
Hello, Joanna, Stacy, and all my Survivor friends. That was a wonderful episode. I really enjoyed it. I think Two for the Price of One was better than the Blood Moon. And I think the most fun was, of course, Rick finding the idol and changing the vote. I got a vote out point for Coach, which was a good thing for me. So very happy to see Coach go because he was really getting on my nerves. Who goes next? I think Joanne would be right. It seems like it's time for Jonathan to go home, but who knows what will happen next. And on that point, I'll end here and cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, Rashmi.
I totally think that Devon's is in serious trouble because they're gonna.
You think it's more Devon's than Jonathan now?
I think Jonathan could be in trouble too if he can maybe dial it back a little bit.
Well, he definitely
And-
didn't vote with the majority.
No, he didn't, and neither did Stephanie, obviously. But Devon's put a real target on his back.
No,
with
Stephanie
that
did vote with the majority.
because, well, she did, but she wasn't happy about it, and she's out for blood. So
Yeah.
if that comes
different.
through, if that seeps through, then that'll hopefully she'll get that under control. But because Stephanie had said she put something out this morning on Facebook, and she had said that she never did believe that it was a real idol, and that there
I
were
don't believe
other
her.
people. There are other people that didn't believe it either. But regardless, I think they're going to target him. It's like, well, we're going to flush it one way or the other because we don't want you having it. So we're going to flush it. And if it's not real, we're about to find out.
Well, if you really believe it, then you don't have to worry about it, and there's no need to waste votes doing that.
Yeah,
That's why I believe she is engaged in some serious revisionist history. She didn't know what to believe is what I saw.
Okay. But I still think they're going to, try to, at the very least, flush his idol if he does have one.
Uh-huh.
And so that's why I said after this show aired that you better start looking for real. If there's an idol out there, you need it. But anyway, I do think he'll be one of the targets to at least flush his idol.
This is going to be a big test for Jonathan. I'm looking forward to seeing how he manages it. See if he can handle this, because he's down. He's odd man out now, and they are not the controlling majority alliance. So it's
but we don't really know.
He got tested
who the
with Charlie,
majority
but
is.
this seems like the stakes are even higher.
Well, definitely Stephanie and Jonathan believe that they're in the majority still because they think they have Ozzy and Sari and who else they think? Tiffany and Joe. So that's the majority because Joe's brought in Tiffany to their group. So in their minds, they do still have the majority, and that Rizzo, Emily, Christian, Devins, and maybe Aubrey are on the outs. So 6-5.
We'll see.
Maybe. But I don't know what's going to go that way.
I don't agree with what you're concluding. I don't think
I
it's going to
said
track
that's
that
what
way.
Stephanie and Jonathan think.
Yeah,
I don't know what Sari thinks. And I think that's, where the main thing lies. What is
I look forward to seeing how Jonathan
guide
analyzes it all, because it seems like the math isn't going to end up in his favor when he thinks about it.
It may not.
Thanks, Rashmi. Next up, we got a call from Tara.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Hi, Survivor friends. This is Tara in New York, checking in after episode 8. Double the fun, double the demise. I really enjoyed this week's episode, and I actually kind of predicted how it went. Since I'm usually wildly wrong with all of my theories, it made it extra fun, even though I will say CBS gave away quite a bit of info in the press release, so that helped a lot. I can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say about the twist this week, because I'm just a tiny bit up in the air still. It was hands down 1,000 times better than the Blood Moon. For one, because they weren't stuck in little groups where they had no room to maneuver. And they also chose their duos, knowing that it was going to be a big deal. So I really liked that. They were all able to strategize together at camp. So I'm leaning towards really liking this one. However, I keep asking myself if I'm maybe a bit biased on this one. Because, for example, if Christian and Sari had gone home, I'm not quite sure I'd be this high on it. Maybe we'll just have to see how it plays out if they use it in future seasons to come to a final conclusion. Speaking of the twist results, like I said, I was perfectly fine seeing Coach and Chrissy go home this week. As for Chrissy, I can only judge her by the edit we were shown, but it seems like she didn't learn much from her original game. She has some strategic chops, but her social game always suffers, especially since she can't make meaningful bonds, especially with other women, and I just don't need to see her again. And then there's Coach. At first, I wasn't thrilled to see him on 50, but I really can't complain at this point. He gave us some funny moments, and for me, somebody to root against. At times, though, it seemed like he was being super performative in front of the cameras, and I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that because I know you guys have met him in the past. That said, hearing him recite the Magellan quote that opened the premiere actually gave me goosebumps. I think the show did a great job giving him a final send-off. Moving on, I of course have to mention Rick's fabulous move at Tribal with the fake idol, proving once again that whether fake or real, he is the idol king. It's easy to see that Rick is having so much fun out there, and I just loved every second of this. I just hope it doesn't paint a huge target on his back in the coming weeks. I'm also wondering how Joe and Stephanie changing their votes might turn out with the Honor and Integrity Alliance coming up. Finally, saving the best for last, I've got to talk about Sari. She had her best episode this week, finally not getting screwed over by a twist, and coming back from exile like a gangster in an Oprah suit to run that vote. It's truly amazing to see her play, and I can't believe that everyone seems to think they're working with her. I actually think she might win this thing. Next week, I'm hoping to see Jonathan or Stephanie go home, but I am truly worried for the so-called middle people, especially Rick and Christian. Also, for some reason, I have a feeling we might get our Jimmy Fallon appearance. That's about it for me. Thanks again, as always, Joanne and Stacy, for all you do, and can't wait to hear from everybody else. Have a great week.
Yeah, thanks, Tara. Good job. Yeah, we got that, and we got the Mr. Beast one that were both previewed in the preview for this season, so that have still come yet to come to fruition.
I think we probably answered the question already, too, about Coach.
Oh, yeah. It could definitely be different. And there is a humble version of him that we've seen. When we saw him get invited to play along when Russ Landau, when they were jamming, there was a very humble version of Coach that was that was there. So
Yes, he can be real.
yeah, it's not always that amped up version that you see in the edit.
No. And he didn't start out the season that way. That's why. And he acknowledged it. Oh, no, I'm no longer the Tide Walker. I'm full blown I'm the Dragon Slayer again.
Yeah.
That's me, and I'm
Just
just
gonna
going
do
to
it.
go for it. It's here.
And it was the D vote that I think shook a lot loose from him, because he mentioned that over and over again in the interviews, in that he could not believe that all these people were going to unanimously vote for D, that they weren't willing to consider splitting the vote, that they were going to take that risk. It just seemed to him like they were wanting to play extremely dumb, and that's a lot of risk to take, obviously.
And they were not listening to him.
Well,
I think
that
was the biggest
that part too.
issue. He told them what he wanted done, and they were not cooperating.
He said up until that point he felt really well connected, and a lot of his connections had been voted off.
That doesn't mean he was.
Yeah,
he
just like
felt that way.
like we were talking about with Chrissy and her not having a good social game. One of the things that she left feeling so good about was that she did have a good social game. Once the swap happened and New Kahlo was formed, she had really good connections with everyone. It started off bumpy for her because she squared off against Dee and Camilla and Tiffany. And so that part wasn't obviously what she was hoping for, because they ended up on opposite sides of things, and she was being targeted. Chrissy was being targeted in the vote off. But once the swap happened, she said that she had really good connections with everyone. And that was a part of why she was so happy with this result in this season and felt like it was healing for her.
Well, you saw when she walked up to Jonathan and Stephanie, he put his arm around her and immediately, hugged up and included her in the conversation. And so, seems like she did. Yeah. And she was able to go speak with everyone, at different times. And, she would even check with Aubrey sometimes, how you doing, kind of. So.
Yeah, so it didn't get emphasized. It wasn't as clear, but she said her experience was night and day different, that this was everything that she had hoped for besides the win in terms of how good it felt to her.
And bottom line, that's all that matters for her game.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Good
what
stuff.
she got out of it.
Thanks, Tara. Next up, we got a call from Brandon.
Hey there, Joanne and Stacy. Brandon from Indiana here with my feedback on the latest episode of Survivor Season 50. Wow. What a fun episode to watch. I've heard a lot of people kind of putting down elements of it, especially in the really super fan community, and saying that some things probably didn't matter, which is fine. But for TV wise, and to all of the casual people that I know that have just started watching Season 50 or just returned back to Survivor with Season 50 after a long time away, a lot of folks that I know personally are saying best episode of the season. I thought it was entertaining. I don't know if it's my top of the season. It's nearly up there, if not. But it was just a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it. It was fun to watch Sari be successful and potentially turn the votes back towards Coach and Chrissy, taking out the old school alliance's power members and at least numbers. And I think it's going to be very interesting where we go from here. The one big frustration I had with the episode was the talk from those very members of the middle people, the wishy-washy people. Where is the other side? I know that some other people have said this at this point, but I was screaming it while watching the TV on Wednesday. Where is the other side? If it's you guys, which is 7 people, And then the middle people of like 4 people, there's only like one other person on the island. Is it just Tiff versus the world at this point? That's insane to me that they don't see the fact that we're just not naming the other side. Is this the edit not showing us that they already kind of know that Rizzo, Suri, and Ozzy are together and maybe aren't a part of their primary alliance, even though they keep saying them in the full numbers whenever they list them out? I don't know. It was very confusing to me. I don't know why that is the case. Also, the beginning of this season and my rewatch of David versus Goliath really has me rooting for Christian, and he's just kind of fallen into the background and become just quote unquote one of the middle wishy-washy people, as Coach labeled him. So I'm a little bit worried for his edit at this point. I know that people were getting a little bit tired of his constant narration, and maybe that was part of some of the supposed last minute changes to the edits. Maybe they toned him back a little bit, let someone else narrate for a little bit, maybe. I don't know. It just seems kind of strange that he's gotten so quiet so much, but maybe that's just a little bit of a downtime where he's playing it smart because he knows that he was a big part of the beginning of the show. I don't know. He's very meta, and I am just hoping that he doesn't get voted out. I would love to see a final tribal council from Christian. I don't know that he would do great at it. He has a problem communicating, especially with the other people on the island, but I would be interested to see how he pleads his case. Up next, I am worried. I don't know at all who is going. My JSFL is going to be bad. I am just going to try to listen to the show and see what everyone else thinks. Thanks so much. Bye.
Thanks, Brandon. I think the primary reason we're not seeing Christian is he's not leading the charge. He's not the primary target, and he's not leading the charge. That's all on Suri.
Well, Coach thought it was on him, but Stephanie was very clear. She listed the 7-people alliance as her, Joe, Jonathan, Ozzy, Suri, Coach, and Chrissy. Mm-hmm. She said they were solid.
Yeah, Brandon's point's still there.
In her mind. Yes, for sure.
Even if you leave Rizzo out of that group, that he's not a tag-alone vote for Suri, then there's still 2 as the other side that aren't the middle, Tiffany and Rizzo. So the math didn't work. It was definitely Culpepper math going on there.
Well, they were really only after the 4. Aubrey, Emily, Christian, and Devin.
Right.
That's who they're considering the middle, is what they said, those 4.
Yeah, Brandon's clear on that. He's just saying, look, if they're the middle, there's not enough for an opposition.
But, yes, true.
There's something wrong there. Good deal. Thanks, Brandon. Next up, we got an email from Mary in Maryland.
Hello, everyone. I've been wanting to give feedback every week, but haven't been able to get it in on time. I've really been enjoying everyone's comments and watching the season along with you. I celebrated when Coach and Chrissy were voted out. I couldn't have hoped for a better outcome. I got my first vote out point of the season for Coach, but unfortunately lost a safe point for Chrissy. I'm doing terribly in JSFL, but I take that as a good sign that the season is unpredictable. Mm-hmm. I'm glad to see Tiffany still hanging in there and making inroads with Joe. I hope that she's able to manage her emotions after disappointing tribals and move on to forge a bond with Joe even after he voted for her. She's my winner pick, and I didn't change my USB at the merge.
Bold.
I don't actually think her chances to win are high at this point, but I hope she's able to continue to hang in there for a little while longer. This vote was much more exciting than the Blood Moon. Mm-hmm. As it was mentioned on one of the podcasts, we already have many opportunities for small tribals with the 3-tribe format throughout the pre-merge and in the end game. No need to find additional opportunities for votes with only a handful of people. I'm curious why Jeff seems so stuck on this idea and finds it so exciting.
His 3 words are nowhere to hide.
I'm vicariously loving this experience for Rizzo as a fan, getting to spend the night at Exile Island with Ozzy, being in an alliance with Coach, and even advising him on how to play, and being aligned with Suri. What a dream for a super fan.
Definitely knocked it out of the park there, didn't he?
I'm really enjoying the season as well as listening to all the different podcasts and exit interviews and hearing what all of you have to say. Thank you, Joanne and Stacy, for putting all of this together for us. This community really adds to my enjoyment of Survivor and brings joy to my week. All right. Well, we're glad it does, Mary, and thank you very much.
Yeah. Glad you were able to get that in this week. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Lori.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Lori calling in from Arizona this week. I enjoyed last night's episode. It's probably been my favorite so far this season, and actually in quite a while. Not too fond of the new era, but I love that Suri did well in the challenge. That was exciting. Also, the coconuts, that looked pretty overwhelming, but she did it, so glad about that. Glad she's safe for another day. Hopefully, she'll continue on this kind of under the radar with all these other players as being someone to vote off. I'm guessing maybe Stephanie or maybe Jonathan will be the next one voted off, but you never know. Christian and Devin seem to be catching some slack too. Anything could happen. So far this season has delivered on everything that's promised. Can't wait to see Jeff doing a challenge. That would be an interesting twist. I'm just wondering if it's something like if he wins, no one will get immunity and everyone is eligible to be voted off. That could be pretty exciting. But again, can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say. Thanks for all you do. Take care. Bye.
Excellent. Thanks, Lori. Next up, we got a call from Anderson.
Hey, Jordan, Stacy. This is Anderson from North Carolina calling with my feedback for week 8. I'm distraught because Coach got voted out because Chrissy and Rick Devin. Yeah, very disappointing. But at least I got to vote out for it on Chrissy, which I was one of the few people who did. I'm doing pretty good in the side challenge, and I just don't know what's going to happen next episode. It'll probably be Emily, Christian, Rick, or Aubrey, because they need to get voted out. And if one of them wins the season, I'm going to be really mad and possibly rage a lot. But on a positive note, the challenge was alright. I saw 3 picking up the coconuts, and I was talking to my family. I would probably start on the far end and work my way in, so it goes from harder to easier. Because you start farther away, you work faster, and then once you get closer in, you go slower. So, because if it's more likely farther out than like right there next to the thing, because they're not going to make it really easy. It'll probably be far out or in the middle, way out towards the water. But it was towards the far side, but not too far. Okay, I want to thank you guys for everything you do. And this summer it'll be, I think, 2 years, because 16 is the age you can send your application for Survivor. So if I'm going off of that, 16 to 18, it's like 16 years old or something like that. It'll be 2 years this summer until I can apply for Survivor. And hopefully I can get on, show y'all some love. I really want to play Survivor so bad. And I know a bunch of other people do too. The thing is, I don't like fruit, and I don't like fish. But I love Survivor, so I'll do it anyway. Once again, thanks for everything y'all do, and I'll see you next week. Until then, bye.
You don't like fruit, you don't like fish. We've seen this before. It can be very difficult. You should start, well, no, you shouldn't. You're too young to fast. But I would wholeheartedly encourage you to start applying. Just going through that process, the thought process you have to go through to think about how to present yourself for this type of an opportunity forces you to do a lot of introspection, and I think some good things can come of that. So it's whether it's like playing music or any kind of performative thing, recording yourself and then watching it and then trying to improve on that, I think can be really beneficial for you. So definitely do that. Good deal. Thanks, Anderson. Next up, we got a call from David.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. It's David in Pittsburgh. And after 50 seasons of Survivor, I finally learned a few things. 1, don't believe the previews. We saw Suri crying, and I knew that meant that one of her allies, Rizzo or Ozzy, was going to have to go, and she couldn't save them, and so she was distraught over that. No, she was sweating and crying over coconuts. 2, ignore social media. The online experts know that Jeff has this game rigged. He rigged the challenges. He rigged the journey. just so he keeps his favorite players in the game. There were 2,000 coconuts, yes, but they had the symbol of the phoenix up so Siri could see it, and they put it close to the platform where the timer was so she could find it. So obviously this was rigged. And no one believes that this is Survivor that the fans voted on. Production is doing whatever they want and saying that it's in the hands of the fans. Okay, I want to get to the tribal council vote. So Coach played his shot in the dark, and there were only 12 votes. One of them went to Devins and Aubrey from Jonathan, and one went to Emily and Rizzo from Chrissy. So my question is, what would have happened if the shot in the dark came up safe? That would mean that all those votes against Coach and Chrissy don't count.
Right.
And then it would be a tie between Devins and Aubrey and Emily and Rizzo, and they'd re-vote again. And I'm assuming that that would mean that Devins and Aubrey would go. I think Chrissy knew that Coach was going to play his shot in the dark, and I think that she made a strategic move to put that one vote on Emily Rizzo. That's the one thing I see a number of the players are not doing. They're not thinking ahead several steps. I think Chrissy was a strategic player. In her season, she played a really good strategic game, not a great social game. But I think in this season, she's been under-edited, kind of in the background, somewhat because of her own choice of who she aligned with. Even when they left and they're saying their goodbyes, Coach had the spotlight and she was kind of shoehorned in there. I also can't figure out why Aubrey played her idol last week. Nobody made Rizzo or Ozzy have to play it, and I think she would have saved the day, and Devins could have used his fake idol later. And also Jonathan, I'm going to say he's the next to go because they're showing the not meaner side, but the obstinate side, which I think we saw some of it in his season. So I am interested, as always, to hear what the rest of the fans have to say. And I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Good deal. Thanks, David. There is an extra scene, deleted scene, where you see Aubrey and Rizzo in a hammock talking there in the morning of day 16 about her using her idol, why she felt like she had to, and all that. It also felt very performative, like they were super aware of the cameras.
Very aware of the camera.
And you don't always see that. Although
Who'd
Aubrey...
you say she was with?
Rizzo.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
If you watch, Aubrey looks into cameras all the time. She's all the time breaking the fourth wall. They ask them not to do that, but she'll be walking down the trail. She'll glance up and look right at it.
Too.
Yeah. Well, sometimes...
And Coach, come on.
Yeah. Anyway, to the point, there's a little more explanation from her, whether it's for the cameras or it's what she was feeling at the moment. And Rizzo said, well, it had locked you into an association with Devins, and that was the primary driver for you to let go of it, to break that connection. So that, that might be weak sauce, but there's something by way of explanation.
Because he supposedly gave it to her, which he didn't at all. Thank you, Christian.
Yeah, nobody knows that but them. So,
well, true.
That part's working for sure. Good deal. Thanks, David. Next up, we got an email from Addie in Arizona. Finally, last week I was elated when I heard there was a possibility of Coach going home. But as soon as Dee turned in her shot in the dark and gave up her vote, I had a real dreadful feeling. Those whispers saying, "We've got the votes," were just to stir the pot. I was pretty miserable afterwards. But that has all changed. I truly am glad that Coach is gone, and this order of not-so-righteous manhood left him with forcing the seduced Jonathan to find an alternative, better alliance next week. I can't believe he chose to tag along with that group. He didn't even get a nickname. Oh, he got a nickname. He got Coach's hand-me-down nickname of Tidewalker.
That's right. I forgot that.
I like the whole pair concept. It was interesting that it was actually a disadvantage to be paired with alliance members, whereas people like Christian and Tiffany were protected by Joe and Jonathan, despite the fact that they would have been on the chopping block. I hope we get to see it in a future season because it threw everyone off at Tribal Council in confusion is fun to watch. Something I was unclear about was whether or not Suri was safe after returning from Exile Island. Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
If I was in one of the pairs, I would definitely have voted her out. She is a really dangerous and likable player and has a lot of sway over other castaways. Did you see how easily Ozzy switched over? Suri didn't even give him her reasons before he had already made up his mind. To be fair, though, he had already designated her as the executive decision maker earlier on in the season. Still, despite the fact she's running the game, few people, even the most strategic of players, see her in a power position. As for next week, I'm sensing that Christian will be sent home. I don't want to see this happen, but he's been extremely vulnerable for a long time now, and Emily, with all the information she has on him, truly does have his life in her hands. On the other hand, I could easily be wrong. As established with the unending supply of evidence, Emily is a very unpredictable player, so who's to say she will go one way or the other? Either way, this is a really great season, and I enjoy the gameplay that is happening, even if it's misleading sometimes. I'm looking forward to hearing what others have to say. Thanks, Addie. Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's from Indiana, and this episode was truly great. This is probably the best that we have gotten in this season so far. The twist actually worked. This was a fun twist, and it's something that they've done in international seasons, particularly like the one I think of the most is South African Survivor. They did a version of this. They called it Tied Destinies, which I think is a way better name than whatever they came up with. But so I was familiar with the concept. I really like it. It wasn't super random. No, they didn't tell them when they were making the pairs that your pair is going to be your life in this game, essentially. But they let them pick the pairs. And at the challenge, Jeff clearly laid out every single detail. The only surprise is that Suri got to come back. So none of it was super random, super thrown at you. Hey, guess what? Draw a rock. Oh, you're screwed. And so that's what I like, because it let them have agency, it let them play, it let them move around this twist, and a lot of players did really well at that, and 2 players in particular did very poorly at that. Suri, I think she's been prevalent this whole season, but in this episode, she makes her mark, and this could be her winner episode right here because, Devins has the flashy moment finding the fake idol at Tribal Council, which was incredible, and an incredible lie. Hey, knowledge is power. I'm not saying anything. And an incredible lie to Aubrey. I have to sneak it out. I can't play it tonight, by the way. So it kind of gives him implicit immunity for the next round. Or he might be able to find the real idol next time and then be safe anyway. Incredible stuff from Devins here. But Suri being able to come back, accomplish that task, which, sidebar, can we stop showing the balance beam? Suri Fields has done so many other things in the freaking balance beam in Game Changers. What are we doing? Anyway, but she comes back from exile and it just gets everybody together and is, hey, stop being dumb. This is what we're doing. We're doing Chrissy and Coach because this is pivotal. And for the people that were annoyed with the Honor Integrity Alliance, this is a perfect episode for y'all. I didn't hate it, but I certainly was more invested in the middle players, as they say. This just worked out perfectly. And Chrissy, I didn't need to see it again. Coach, I didn't need to see again. So maybe it's because I don't really like either of them that much, but I think it's more just because it worked. This was a fun, entertaining episode. There was so much going on. Ozzy was great here. Suri was fantastic. Christian was great. Devins was great. Emily was great. Abu was great. And they convinced Joe to get over. And Rizzo is coming into his own in this season. It's been so good. It's so good. This episode was great. Now, hopefully, they can keep on this trajectory because I'm loving it. All right, that's all I got. I will see you all next time.
Excellent. Thanks, Parker. Yeah, I'm really glad they borrowed this from other seasons. They've done that in the past. Other regions of Survivor. So I hope they continue to do that. This one, I agree, it was just fantastic in comparison to some of the twists they've been coming up with. Good deal, Parker. Next up, we got a call from Shahin.
Hi, Joanne and Stacey and to all the Survivor fans. Hope everyone's well and safe. I thought this episode was excellent once again. I think the characters that they're able to use upon with these castaways, I mean, it's a brilliant season, and production, I have to give it to them. I think the challenges are excellent once again. They've got a lot to work with, which is really good, and I think in the past, probably because they're one-time players, and probably their characters as well at the time, they just haven't been very good to work with in the 40s. But the ones that have stood out have actually been pretty good, and I think it's the blend that's really helped. I think season 50 has been a really good season so far. I wasn't too sure about the challenge. The challenge itself, as I said, the mechanics, that's probably the one I want to focus on, because I felt really bad for Chrissy that she was just, by association with Coach, because it was so rigid, she exited pretty much as a consequence of Coach's actions. And I get it. Chrissy has been rather inflexible. I think Chrissy's been poor. I don't think she's had a great game. I think she's had flashes, but I think she became quite fixated in how she wanted to play the game, and she got herself into a sticky situation. And I think it's quite rich from Coach to kind of mention, we got to get rid of these players in the middle. I mean, if you want to play, this is how you play Survivor. You play in the middle. You have to be fluid. You have to be dynamic. You have to be agile. I know I'm using some real tech bro speak here, but you really need to think on your feet and be able to let bygones be bygones. Just survive another day or two. If you're on one side, you need to be able to find a way to get onto the other side or to be at peace. Sometimes it's just about survival. And I think, I've really enjoyed the way that obviously Cerie's been excellent, and the way that she was able to tackle that challenge was excellent this week on Exile Island. But the way that, for example, Ozzy's been able to play the game, and I feel like he's changed his ways again. I think I mentioned that for the last 2 weeks. I'm really enjoying the way that he's playing. I think Rizzo is played excellently, and I got to give it to him. I mean, he's not going to get the status that he's looking for. I think it's going to take another 1 or 2 appearances for that to happen and maybe a win. But for example, him, Christian, thought Devons, these guys are playing it quite well. They're getting themselves into positions where they can do so. I think it's just rather rich from him and rather just short-sighted. And this character, thank God it's gone. He's the uncle that I've talked about it before. He's the uncle that you've got to put to bed at 9 p.m. You've got to apologise to everyone at the party. I'm sorry, Uncle Coach is just lost his mind. We've got to put him to bed. Sorry, guys. And he's a mess. But it's a character, and he talks about it in his post-game interviews that he put it on. I mean, it comes out, but he knows what people want and he brings it out. But look, excellent once again, and I'm really happy with the way this game is panning out. I think my pick to go looks to be Jonathan. I think his time is up. He's unfortunately done. Thanks for what you do. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Thanks, Shahin. Good job. Enjoyed that. Next up, got a call from Samantha.
This is Samantha, a.k.a. Survivor Rocks from Texas. To seek high rewards, you have to take risk. And Cerie did just that. She wants that single spot and put her shot in the dark in the bag. I wanted her to find the Phoenix, and she did that too. She powered through and came back to vote. During the duo twist, we were rooting for Ozzy and Steph and Christian and Jonathan. We didn't want Tiff and Joe to win, and of course, that's who wins immunity and reward. We didn't want to see Devin go, but we didn't care if Aubrey went. We didn't want Coach to go, but didn't care if Chrissy went. Emily could go, but I wanted Rizzo to stay. We love a good twist. We enjoyed Devins and his fake idol and enjoyed this twist this episode. Sad to see the Dragon Slayer go, but I will end with a haiku for Coach. Courage and scales. Wings stretch wide in flight. Fire heart glimmers with might. Fear's shadows take flight. Armored scales so bold, guarding the secrets of the old. Courage fierce as gold. In the night they soar. Whispers of legends and lore. Dragons forevermore.
All right.
All right. That was way better than Coach's.
Enjoyed that. Thanks, Samantha. Next up, we got an email from Jill in the Outback.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy and Survivor fans. Sorry for being absent the past few weeks. We've been flat out with farm jobs and Easter, so I hope to be back to normal now. The season just keeps getting better. I love seeing the payoff of the hidden idol at Tribal for Rick, but I'm not sure if Christian is happy about it. Hopefully they'll show us his reaction next week. I thought it was great how Rick had an excuse for why he didn't play the idol. Very clever. Cerie is a master at this game, but I feel the others know that and will vote her out as they get closer to the end. Her Exile Island challenge was fantastic. Imagine if she saw the Phoenix coconut straight up after some poor worker laid out 2,000 of them. I think Jonathan is in trouble and Joe too by association. They both show glimpses of good strategy, but can't get past the integrity roadblock. I'm sure my opinion of Rizzo changes every week. This week it was fun to see him appreciate Rick's move and talking to Coach. Other weeks, he's a pain in the neck. Chrissy was a little overshadowed by Coach leaving this week, which is a shame. She complained earlier in the season that women weren't being shown as much as the men, so she mustn't have been happy to be eliminated the same week as a big character. I reckon Survivor needed this season to be fantastic, and so far so good. The show has lost its shine in the modern era with some pretty substandard players. I'm looking at you, Banu. So it's great to see some good players playing.
That's
Previously,
it.
yeah.
That's the difference, too.
Mm-hmm. Previously, I would have said I preferred new player seasons, but I've changed my mind. A returnee season every now and then won't hurt. Thanks for everything, and I look forward to hearing the feedback show. Happy days. All right. Thanks, Jill.
Yeah.
Happy days to you.
So between what Jill was saying and what Shahin was saying, I was thinking one of the big differences is all these people can play. There's just such a plethora of people with capability within the game. They've played enough that they know how to play. And what we saw over so many times through the 40s, I would say, with the only exception being 47, is that the majority of the tribes, the majority of the 18, weren't able to play. They were all at a substandard level, various degrees, but there would just be a handful of people that had the capacity to play the game. And that seems like that might be the standout feature. If you could have a season of newbies that had this ability to play, like's being demonstrated here, which is just so fantastic, then I think it could be a completely different ballgame. And we got glimpses of that in 47 with a lot of worthy opponents in that season, and at least that's how it hits me.
Well, they've got to form like they do with the baseball camp or so. They got to send them to Survivor camp. let them practice.
Oh, we're missing the minor leagues, is what you're saying.
And then select them.
Yes. Yeah, we need a pipeline.
Do you have the ability to play? Well, come find out at Survivor Summer Camp.
Yeah. Well, and there are summer camps like that out there, right? Bob held one for years.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would call it necessarily a practice, but it certainly could be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of the online games that have a social element like that can demonstrate it too. But yeah.
But if they hosted
Interesting
that
to think about.
And selected their contestants from
the
that,
pipeline with some wild cards thrown in.
It could be yes. Well, they would do that anyway.
Yeah, for characters,
but,
always farming
absolutely.
for TV moments.
I like that idea.
Yeah, good deal. Thanks, Jill. Next up, we got a call from Pat.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy, this is Pat calling. I am rolling through the beautiful town of Bakersfield, California. If anybody has ever been there, they know that is pure sarcasm. But I got to say, this episode, I think, is my favorite of the season. I really liked how you had to vote for couples, basically. I thought that really made it a lot more interesting at Tribal Council and to come up with people to vote. I felt bad for Chrissy being stuck with Coach, but that's how the ball bounces. Speaking of Coach, I had thoughts about him this week that I had to share. So my birthday was the other day, and I was home and got to spend it with my daughter and grandkids. And my youngest grandson is a few months old. And watching him this weekend reminded me of Coach because he has started walking now. And he does things, that a 1.5-year-old does. And when he does things like walk across the room, he gets all excited and smiles and claps for himself. And I thought, Oh my God, that is Coach. He gets excited, he smiles, he claps for himself. So I know I always dog on him and say how I don't like him, which that hasn't changed. But it made me think about the great NASCAR driver, Dale Earnhardt. Years and years ago, he had a driver, Jeff Gordon, go to him when he was first starting. And he was talking about how during driver introductions, the fans would just boo him, would boo Jeff Gordon, and it just bothered him. And he talked to Dale Earnhardt and asked how to handle that. And Dale Earnhardt had this saying, which is so true, that don't worry when they boo for you, worry when the fans say nothing. And so Coach, to me, is like that. You either hate him or you loved him. There's no in between. And so for Coach, to me, that's a win. And then for Survivor, that's a win. So didn't like to see Coach on there, but he gave me somebody to root against. Love the whole episode. Rizzo, in my opinion, really is playing good. He's kind of, I don't know if he's under the radar, but it seems like he fell in with a good group of people. So that's good for me since he's my new USB. And something I've also thought about is a great fundraiser for Joanne and Stacy to help pay for cost of the podcast, and that is to raffle off a night with Joanne and Stacy at your house watching Survivor, because I know I would pay a lot of money just to sit with you guys and watch Survivor, take notes, eat that double Dutch apple pie after it's over, and then sit and listen to the recording, because you two crack me up. You make it so great. I love, Stacy, when you push Joanne's buttons, talking about how Chrissy had to go first because she was a girl and didn't do so much as Coach. That just made me laugh. And I know, and she knows you were kidding, but it's still funny because that's the kind of stuff that I do and say just to get a rise out of people. So on my bucket list is one day to go to Georgia on a Survivor night and eat some rice, eat some great dessert, and just hang out with you two watching Survivor. I think that would be the ultimate. Y'all have a good week, and we'll talk to you later.
Okay, now,
Thanks,
just
Pat.
exactly how much money we're talking. You're welcome at our fire anytime, as Michael Sheets would say.
Yeah. Yeah, although we would rope you into doing the podcast, so.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Well, I actually have done the podcast with Drew and Julie and Christy and Mike once when we were in L.A.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's not like it's never been done before. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Good deal. Thanks, Pat. Appreciate that. Next up, we got a call from Joe.
Now that is what I'm talking about. That episode of Survivor was so good that my wife even watched it with me. That never happens. By the way, you mentioned in the recap show that Joe wrote Coach's name. Joe wrote Chrissy's name. I've attached the screenshot. Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all Survivor fans. This is Joe from Huntersville. I loved how this played out. It started with Coach inviting Rizzo to become one of the 4 horsemen and ended with him and Chrissy getting voted out. Am I missing something? Or does Rizzo have a dual personality? One for camp life, the other for his confessionals. You notice that the people around camp really like him, but his confessionals show a whole different side. Now, if memory serves me, this is normally the part of the game where Ozzy shoots himself in the foot and gets very paranoid. I love the play of the fake idol. I thought it was going to play a big part in the game because of the edit. I think it made Joe write Chrissy's name. I'll bet that if Devins didn't find the fake idol, Joe wouldn't have written Chrissy's name, but have written Devin's name. So, post-tribal, it looks like Stephanie was unhappy about the last vote. Is this a sign of her getting voted out next week? How can she be mad? She wrote Coach's name down as well. Who are they talking about being flip-flopping? It sounds like an Emily description, but who knows? That's all I have to say. This has been my favorite episode so far this season. I look forward to hearing what other fans have to say. Many thanks to you, Joanne and Stacy. This is Joe signing off.
Thanks, Joe.
All right.
Coach mentioned the other Joe and Joe's vote in his interviews. He said that Joe originally only wrote Chrissy, and they sent him back into the booth to add coach. And if you look, you can see a rough approximation of the word coach under Chrissy's name.
Yeah.
Chrissy's is very big. Coach's is small and kind of scrunched together.
Yeah.
But supposedly
you can
they.
see the COA.
Yeah. CH. Yeah.
Well, that's not as he's kind
it's
of
like he wasn't
scribbled it
happy.
on.
Yeah. Which fits with Coach's description of being sent back in there to add it in, because Joe was originally going to be a man of his word, but production made him.
They wouldn't allow it.
Made him write Coach's name down.
Write it both.
All right. Thanks again, Joe. Next up, we got a call from Justin.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy and all the Survivor superfans. It's Justin from Michigan. So I really loved this episode. I thought it was well balanced. The twist hit for me, and it mostly hit because they were able to choose their pairs. Yes, they chose them before they knew exactly what was happening, but they at least had that choice. They had some control over who they were paired up with. So if this would have been a random draw of people, I would have really disliked this. But because they had the choice of who to pair up with, I really enjoyed the way that they did this. And I wouldn't mind them to do it again, not every season, but every once in a while when they need to do double boots. This is a good mechanic of how to do it. So the way that it shook out, I thought it was a great time in the season for Coach to go. If he went any farther, I think he would have just gotten dragged to the end as a goat. So we got to see enough Coach for the people that enjoy his antics and his entertainment value, but we didn't have to just see him get dragged as a 0-vote finalist at the end. So that was good. Chrissy, I feel bad for, kind of got overshadowed the whole season. And then having to even share a boot episode with Coach, just kind of a footnote on the season for the most part, but I'm glad she got the second chance and at least she had some closure with her Survivor journey. Looking forward to next week, I mean, this could go a lot of different ways. It kind of depends on how Joe, Jonathan, and Steph react to what happened. They could just become the easy targets from Aubrey, Christian, Emily, Rick, and then depending on which way Tiffany wants to go, she's in a good spot. I don't think anybody's going to be looking at Tiffany, so she can decide to kind of solidify that bond with Joe and try to go with whatever they want to do, or she could just go to the Aubrey, Christian, Emily, Rick group and say, hey, use me as a number. Once again, Sari, Rizzo, Ozzy also kind of have the control as that voting block of 3. Whichever way they want to go, they kind of control until people start looking at those 3. There's reason to look at all of them. Sari, of course, everybody should know if she gets to the end, she's going to win. So you have to start thinking about that. Rizzo and Ozzy both have an idol. The further in the game they get, the more powerful they become as well. So until you start targeting one of those 3, they just keep becoming more powerful, especially with Sari's extra vote. Rizzo and Idol each have an idol. I think eventually they have to be targeted. I don't know if it'll happen this week. So I think I'm going to go with Joe. I can also see Jonathan. And if they all find out that Rick doesn't actually have a real idol, I could definitely see him also being on the chopping block. So looking forward to what everyone else has to say.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin.
You know, one real problem that I could also see that could crop up is because Tiffany and Joe are safe, Tiffany could share with Joe about Ozzy telling her that he wanted Coach out and was willing to work with her before Joe did, because is Joe going to see that as dishonest on Ozzy's behalf, that he had getting rid of Coach in mind long before this episode happened?
Right. In his mind, the alliance was already worth taking out.
Yeah.
So just at the right time.
Hopefully Tiffany's not going to say anything about that, but it just depends on, what happens.
Yep. Absolutely. Thanks again, Justin. Next up, we got an email from Josh the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, what a wonderful episode. The way the twist played out was great, and Devin's pulling off his fake idol gambit was amazing. Here are my other observations. Tide Walker coach got swept away by the tide at Tribal Council. Rizzo said Devin's fake idol was cinema. For Chrissy, it was a slasher movie. Shiny, happy, blue sky coach came off like Survivor's version of a Stepford wife. If she loses, Tiffany will make her dough by developing a Survivor skincare line. This week, Trader Jeff had a buy one, get one free special on player demises. Ozzy wants to serve Coach's head to Tiffany on a silver platter. He's hoping to get a Michelin star for his restaurant. Choosing the pairs played out like Survivor speed dating. Ozzy spreading tales of idol boogeyman Devins did a lot to set the stage for Rick's fake idol play. Yeah, it's another way to look at that, isn't it? Mom Chrissy sent Coach to the timeout hammock. Sure sign that your social game is trash. Your response to an obvious question is stunned silence. Coach. You know, a twist is feared when getting sent to Exile Island for a night is a good thing. Isn't it ironic that someone called Coach is so bad at shooting baskets? I think the pizza paddle ball toss was a nod to Justin from season 48. Food rewards are definitely downsizing as the season progresses. They'll probably vie for a stick of gum at Final 7. Yeah, the spaghetti was a bit underwhelming, wasn't it? Spaghetti for 2 with tiramisu. Aubrey says she'll work her magic. Does she pull coins from people's ears? Cerise swept through the strategizing like a tidal wave of 2,000 coconuts. Tiffany's one of those people who can call someone a dummy and still be endearing. That's true. Chrissy is the Dragon Slayer whisperer. He needs a Dragon Slayer shouter. Joe says he wants to link up with Tiffany. That almost sounds like showmance talk. It did sound that way. I thought the same thing. If Coach says a haiku in the hammock and nobody hears it, does it make a sound? Okay. Cerise said take out mom and dad and the kids won't know what to do. Are we getting Survivor's version of Home Alone next week? People who target Rizzo go. How does that happen? He must be wearing lucky sock. I don't think that Dragon Slayer, the musical, will be a hit on Broadway. I didn't have a quote from War Dog on my Survivor bingo card for this week. That was quite the surprise, wasn't it? I did a spit take when Devin said, "I'm the baby." Coach's Magellan quote ended with a bludgeoning. So did the tribal council vote. Devins was really slick in telling Aubrey that the idol wasn't active yet. When Coach's shot in the dark failed, I could hear Pete from Boston's woo from 30 miles away. Jock Jonathan chose Nerdy Christian as his lab partner. He probably thought he'd do his math homework for him too. Chrissy and Coach both lost, but Jeff sent off Chrissy first. Is he chivalrous or a chauvinist? Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? Devin's fake idol gambit was at least partly responsible for Coach's ouster. Does that make him the Dragon Slayer? Cerie's game is like carbon monoxide. It sneaks up on you, lulls you to sleep, and if nobody wakes you in time, you're gone. The only thing that would have made Coach's ouster sweeter was a vaudeville stage hook. Paragon of Virtue Joe lied. Welcome to Survivor, Joe. Next time Stephanie wants to slit throats, Emily is a flip-flopping bum. Christian is a robot in human skin. Jeff gets a grip, and this is insane. Is the next twist a vote off of Jeff? Anyway, that's it for me for now. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks, Josh. Good job. Enjoyed that.
What would be even funnier, somebody that considered themselves, say if Devins considered, hey, I got the Dragon Slayer. Mm-hmm. I'm the one that got him. Now I'm going to be the new Dragon Slayer.
No. No.
No, it wouldn't be funny, but I was thinking of Coach's reaction. What?
Yeah.
You can't do that. That's mine.
Can't take my nickname. Thanks again, Josh. Next up, we got a call from Jeremiah.
Now, that was a fun twist. Hey, everybody, it's Jeremiah here with some thoughts about this episode, which I thought was very entertaining. Sounds like most of the internet enjoyed it. Now, some people didn't like the twist, and some people do, it seems. Personally, I kind of like it. I think it especially works in this particular scenario that we are in with Survivor 50 with so many players. You know, you have to do a lot of double boots, and what a fun way to do a double boot. Mm-hmm. Now, the question is, Could they do this again in another season? Maybe, although the strategy was going to be very different because you'd assume that if the players are told to get in pairs, everyone's going to start assuming that's going to be what the twist's going to be, and you're going to have to be a lot more careful about who you pick. But overall, I did not hate it. Now, there's so much to unpack from this episode. Obviously, it was a huge episode for Sari. Not only with her emotional moments there on Exile Island, but the fact that everyone is listening to her. She is in the power position. Can you believe this? What is wrong with these people?
Exactly.
Now, obviously, I'm excited about it because I love Sari and I would love to see her win, but this was very entertaining to watch for her. I laughed out loud when I heard Ozzy say how dumb he was to think about voting for anybody else until Sari was able to set him straight. So much fun. A few other takeaways I had. I think Tiffany might be in a much better position. I know she's tight with Aubrey, and I don't know, maybe she has legs now. I mean, don't take any stock in the whole Joe thing, but I don't think anybody's going after her now. Speaking of Aubrey, still not sure what to think about my 24-point USB. Last week, we talked a little bit about her using the idol. Personally, I thought it was a smart move. It takes the threat off of her. It also takes the threat off of her being blindsided. One of the problems with the boomerang idol is if you got a boomerang idol, you have to assume that it's a possibility that people might try to blindside you so they can get the idol back. Now, granted, I don't think Christian and Rick were going to try to set her up, although it sounded like maybe they would have considered it. Well, especially Rick. But I'll continue to track Aubrey's position. Speaking of Rick, though, yes, it was very entertaining to watch all of the cinema there at Tribal Council with the fake idol. I'm glad we got a payoff, but let's face it, I wasn't buying any of it. I thought this was just drama that wasn't needed. I do not think that Aubrey and Rick were in trouble at all. Now, I did get Joe and Stephanie to change their votes maybe, but other than that, I don't think they were in trouble. And also, it seemed to me by Christian's reaction, I don't think he wanted him to do it. But anyway, I knew nothing was going to happen because of Sari's face. She was clearly not concerned. She knew where the votes were going. So that told me what I needed to know. So what's going to happen next week? Well, I'm very worried about the people in the middle, everybody. Granted, yes, Jonathan could be in trouble again, but I'm more concerned about Rick and Christian, especially after these antics at Tribal Council. I think everyone's going to realize that that's not a real idol, and they're going to look at them as threats again. So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to go for Rick right now for my vote off. And that's it for me. You all take care. Until next time, this is Jeremiah from Southern California.
Thanks, Jeremiah. Yeah, it definitely seems like it brings the focus. He lived to fight another day, and that's the main thing, regardless of what the outcome is. But yeah, now he's got to figure out the next step.
But that was so good.
Yeah.
That it just highlights the fear that they already had. They already wanted him gone because of his ability to find idols.
Sure, Ozzy was talking about it earlier in the day. And
yeah, several of them
Devin's delivering on his absolute fears.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that just intensifies it.
Yeah, but I can't imagine what it's like to feel the heat and then to try to decide to not take action with so much at stake. And you've laid the groundwork, and it's right there. Yeah.
And, you know, he's totally conscious of making great TV, too. And he
delivered.
Loves it, enjoys it.
Yeah.
You know, he thinks about it ahead. Very good at that.
More than anyone here that we've seen.
Yes.
Yeah.
More successful than anyone.
At a level way beyond this group. Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Jeremiah. Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California, and here are my thoughts on Survivor 50, Episode 8. Well, my coach is gone. I'm going to tell you a little story about my history of my love of Coach. So the first season I ever watched was Samoa, which meant my second season was Heroes vs. Villains with all returning players, none of whom I have really seen before. I saw an interview with Jeff Probst where he was describing why the heroes were heroes and the villains were villains. And I remember how he talked about Coach. He talked about him as such a villain, and I had just watched Russell Hantz, so I'm thinking, wow, this Coach guy must be like a really bad guy. Anyway, in preparation for Heroes vs. Villains, I started watching old seasons and binging. Anyway, I watched Tocantins, and instead of seeing this diabolical villain, I see this eccentric, harmless guy who, yes, can be annoying, especially when you're starving and dirty. but he just wasn't the villain that Probst suggested him to be. And for that matter, several of the heroes were not quite the heroes that Probst suggested them to be. Anyway, Coach's vote out on Heroes vs. Villains was the episode where I decided to first send feedback in for a very new podcast I had found, the Survivor Fans Podcast. Anyway, my feedback was sporadic after that. I had toddlers and a full-time job and all that stuff. But the season where I finally decided that I was going to make time each week to contribute to this awesome podcast was South Pacific. Something about seasons that Coach is on just makes me want to talk about Survivor. There's something so flawed about him, something so human about him. And to me, I guess, in a nutshell, that's what makes him so compelling of a player to me. And seeing that he was cast on Survivor 50 was actually what made me go back in the Survivor Fans Podcast archives to see when it was I began contributing. And in sifting through all of those seasons of this podcast, I found this wonderful theme that was Coach, and just how much I enjoyed watching seasons with him on it. And so in a way, I feel like Coach brought me to this wonderful community that for so many years has been a highlight of my week. And so for season 50, I have enjoyed every single minute that Coach has been on my screen. Some of it funny, some of it cringy, some of it making me scream at my TV while peeking through my fingers because my hands are covering my face. But all of it so entertaining for me. I know not for everybody. But I'm ready to let him go. I'm ready to just watch him on the jury and to see how the rest of this excellent season plays out. In my house, we still have Devins as a live USB, and by we, I mean Andrew. Anyway, I'll just leave that there. The episode was fantastic. R.I.P. Coach and Chrissy. I can't wait to hear what everyone else's thoughts and opinions are. I couldn't possibly predict what's going to happen next week, but I'm excited to see it. Till next week.
Fantastic. Wow, tying all that together, that's really cool.
That.
Thanks for sharing that.
And I think Coach deserves that. I mean, you know.
That is a great tribute, yeah. And the significance of what he's meant for
It's
your
like-
enjoyment of the show.
And you can't meet these people and not have it not change you, whether for the good or for the bad. It's just different when you, because we see them as characters on TV or this or that, but then you meet them in person. And everyone I've ever listen to that meet different people, you just have a different feel about it because they're real people in the real world, and it's not the character always.
Yeah,
that
it
we
helps
saw
you.
into.
It helps reinforce that concept of you're getting a one-dimensional view, a single-dimensional view into
Yeah.
someone. Yeah, and then when you get to talk to them and interact, it's always
Even
a
with
different
Russell,
experience.
I don't dislike Russell. He's always been very nice to me. So I'm sorry that affects me. So I see a
You're
different
sorry?
side.
Okay.
Well, because a lot of people really don't like Russell, but I'm not one of them.
Good deal. Thanks, Jen. We really appreciate you sharing that. It gives
Yeah,
a
that
whole
was
new
fun.
perspective. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul, Louisiana here, and as you might already know, I love Suri. But at the start of the season, I said that there was no way I could pick her to be my USB because she's too much of a known quantity. Yet here I am after the merge with Suri as my USB because, well, Suri. And part of the reason I say it like that is because this week she dealt with 2,000 coconuts, and somehow she always manages to come through in the clutch. Amazing. Now, as for Devin's idol play at Tribal, well, it worked so far, but he's not out yet because everyone knows about this idol now, and you can't tell me that there aren't going to be numerous players who are going to want to flesh it out. But tell me, am I the only person who felt that he found it far too quickly? I mean, he should have looked in the wrong corner first or something to really sell the discovery of it, but whatever, it worked. And truth be told, I'm not a fan of this week's twist. Getting tied to someone in the game like that just puts a spotlight on how much luck is needed to get you to the end of Modern Survivor. Maybe for season 60 we could have a back to basics season where there aren't any advantages or idols, because I'd actually be thrilled about seeing that. And I do feel sorry that Chrissy had to leave, which reminds me, there were so many players that I didn't care for in this season, including Chrissy, Coach, Rizzo, Savannah, Q, Angelina, and even Devins and Joe, and I know I'm clearly in the minority there on those last two. But you know what? Aside from Coach, I haven't found any of those players to be annoying to watch. Maybe it's just that we had so many players this season that we didn't have to focus on their less pleasant traits. Of course, in this episode, we had Coach front center and all throughout, even though he was sent to timeout in a crib of sorts by Chrissy. And this is probably why he's sunk even lower on my list of players I'd rather not see again. Now, I will admit that his ability to memorize quotes is impressive. I just wish he could do more with them rather than just pull them out like they're stage props. Also, as a coach, I would have thought that he might be able to sink at least one basket semi-quickly. But as they say, those who can't do teach. And then there's the unknown player thing, which I completely agree with. Better the devil you know and all that. Still, Rizzo hung in there while Coach bowed out. And honestly, as much as I'm not a Rizzo fan, I was fine with that. And I hope someone here brings up Jonathan in his robe because I really can't ignore it, but I don't want to get into it here. Also, why didn't Chrissy play her shot in the dark as well as Coach, especially after Coach's turned out to be a dud? Could you only play one shot in the dark for each team or something? I hope so, because with that much on the line, if I were Chrissy, I would have certainly given it the old 1-2 punch. So, yeah, my picking Christian to go over Coach turned out to be another bad move on my part, but hey, I didn't pick Coach as safe, so there's that. This week, I feel that Jonathan could be in a bit of trouble. That's understating it. So there's a good chance I'm going to pick him to go next. Which makes me believe that those middle-of-the-road players may just muddle on through. I've always said that the middle is the best place to be in Survivor. And I guess that's it for me. Everyone enjoy the episode. Catch you next week. Bye.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, it's interesting to think about how this is going to play out. I think it's a big test for Jonathan. I think it's a big test for Stephanie. If she has any agency, this would be a time for her to try to retake control. I mean, she just lost it with 2 out of her alliance and the ones that were really in the alliance with her. But Stephanie's sitting on a steal a vote. So she gets to yoink one from whoever she decides is the opposition. She's got to assume Jonathan would throw in with her. Joe could very likely go that way because he's obviously been pushing for a different direction. So they got 4 votes. They need 6. Who else could they pull? Could Joe pull Tiffany? Maybe.
Probably, yes.
To take control?
But who are they after?
Anyone.
I think it depends on who they're after. And don't forget,
the little bird that
knows Stephanie's secret.
Sure. All the more reason for them to pop Suri.
Shut your mouth.
Talking about taking the mom and the dad out.
That up to me.
This would be, how phenomenal would that be? If Stephanie was able to build an alliance and to wrest control from Suri and take her out.
That will not happen.
In the back and the forth and the who's not going to know how to vote? Nope. Ozzy's going to be
all
left
of a sudden
floating.
Everybody be talking about what a threat Stephanie is against them. And the final challenge is we got to get her out.
The Honesty and Integrity Alliance has regained control. Suri is gone.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Well, who would they target? Devins? Yeah, they would target Devins, I guess.
Well, definitely Devins or...
Might be easier right now.
They might blame Devins and Aubrey for... Stephanie might blame Devins and Aubrey for Coach leaving. More Devins than Aubrey. But
sure.
Especially since
that
she's
would,
saying
we
she
would
never
all, a lot of
believed
us
it was
would
real.
be super sad, but that would be quite the power move from Stephanie. If
She
they
didn't
can,
have that
if
much
her and that group, she didn't have that much power, but it's, could she pull it together? Could she marshal that as a response?
No.
You just say no because you don't want to consider it.
I'm not
You don't want
going
to
to
consider
it,
the
so-
possibility. But she
Yeah.
really does need to get rid of that. She knows that Suri came back and orchestrated that. I don't think Stephanie's got the wherewithal to do it, but I do think this is the moment for her to
does she
strike.
really know that Suri did? I don't know.
Well, Suri's the one, the little bird that told her, hey, you're going to need to vote Coach and Chrissy out.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. That's a nice...
I wouldn't be happy being told that, especially at this point. I'd be looking for control again.
Well, of course you would. And I think Stephanie will try to see who's... But I didn't understand her whole on Next On. I'm going to slit everybody's throats. Well, Stephanie, honey, you can't slit everybody's
She
throats.
means everyone who worked against her and took the majority alliance away from her.
But was that everyone except Jonathan?
The thing that holds me up thinking about that as a reality is I've never seen any evidence that she can put a plan together like that and execute it. At least I don't recall it. Sari can do that kind of thing, but I don't think Stephanie can. And this is like the time for Stephanie to strike.
Well, I think this is going to be an awakening for him, because I think he was feeling like he had a lot of power in the game, and Joe too, and even Stephanie, because they felt secure in their 7-person alliance.
Right.
And they were just positive, we got this, in the bag. We got the majority.
So it's there. The move is on the board for them to take control in.
Okay, be a little more specific.
I am.
Who they are.
I'm getting there. I'm talking about the Stephanie-driven alliance with her steal a vote. So that's 2 for her.
She has 2 votes.
Right.
Okay.
And then Jonathan makes 3. Joe makes 4. Tiffany's 5. Tiffany brings Aubrey. That's it. That's 6.
Against.
Whose vote she gonna steal?
Well, it depends on who she's going after, but she knows she doesn't know that Sari has an extra vote.
I can't remember if Sari shared that part with her or
I
not.
don't think so. No. I think only Rizzo and Ozzy.
Okay, so you
know
got
that.
Sari with 2, Ozzy makes 3.
Well, 6 is
Rick
enough.
Makes 4. But it's because of the extras, though.
But why would Aubrey go with them?
Aubrey's had a connection with Tiffany. Tiffany was the only one that reached out to Aubrey when Aubrey was on the bottom.
Tiffany, but what's in it for Aubrey in the long run to be the tag on for that vote? I don't think it's going to
Well, you could ask the same.
Other than it's not me.
You can ask the same question for where she is right now, assuming that she's in the middle. But sorry, let's finish adding up. So you got Sari is 2, Ozzy's 3, Christian's 4, Rick's 5, Emily's 6. That's a 6-6 tie.
No, because Sari has an extra vote.
No, I counted her as 2. What I didn't do was take one away. So let's say she just steals Emily's. Did I get Rizzo in that? Wait a minute. I'm doing the math wrong, I feel like.
It's still 6 even if
Let's
you
just
take Emily away.
Okay. Yeah. So you got 2 with Sari.
1 for Christian, so Matt makes 3. Ozzy, Rick,
4,
and Rizzo.
5,
That's
6.
6.
Now it's a 6-6 tie.
And
it's
that
not
doesn't
the time
include
to move.
Emily. So.
Yeah, I was wrong. It's a tie. Even if she steals, this isn't the right moment. Even though she's going to want to. I was thinking, well, how can I come up with a scenario where she gets to slit those throats or get started on it?
Oh, she is and Steph. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm back to thinking Jonathan or Rick.
I just don't see people following Stephanie, and especially when she's in an angry, emotional state.
It won't be her leading the whole thing and bringing everyone in. It'll be a group convincing. But this isn't the right step. She's going to have to wait a beat, which also says this is why Sari should probably get rid of Stephanie. Take that steal a vote off the board, take Stephanie off the board, drop their numbers more.
You're counting Joe and Jonathan as part of her alliance, but I don't see them really listening to her as much.
It would be a group decision. I put her at the center because she's got the steal a vote, and
well, Joe's pretty stubborn, and so is Jonathan about whatever they want is the right decision.
Well, and they want honor and integrity to win.
Yes, but
so that's why they would be with Stephanie.
Has a different idea than they do. They'll go with theirs. They won't go with
theirs.
Yeah,
I was wrong. It's not the right time. She doesn't have the majority.
There you go.
Because of the
you were wrong.
+1 vote.
Enough said.
Okay. So
that's what I like.
Now I'm back to worrying about Devins and Jonathan.
Okay, well,
or Stephanie. Yeah, it might be the right time for Sari to take Stephanie off the board.
You can think this through later.
Okay. You ready to be done? All right.
No, I'm just like, you're going in circles now. You're circling the drain. You did this earlier today. I'm like, honey, you're circling the drain.
Well, it's not if you refine your analysis, which is how you go about doing that. Anyway, we want to say a big thank you to everybody who took time to send in your thoughts and predictions this week. We loved hearing what you had to say, and we loved hearing the stories like Jen's about how significant Coach was and her enjoyment of the show. All that good stuff. We also want to say big thank you to Kim for your donation. We greatly appreciate your support.
And don't forget, if you're playing in JSFL, Make your pick for one person voted out and 4 people who you think will still be in the game at the end of the episode.
It might be a single elimination this week.
I think it is, because there's a picture, on the page that is showing just one. So I don't know if that means anything at all, but I'm taking it as one.
Okay, we'll be back on Wednesday with our recap.
All right, have a good one, everybody.